Stock motorcycles kinda sucks. Yeah, I said it. Not the whole bike, but a lot of the parts manufacturers throw on there, cheap, boring, and honestly holding the bike back from what it could actually be. And today, I'm breaking down 5 parts I will never leave stock on a cruiser, and why if you keep them, you're basically riding a watered-down version of your own bike. Now, before anyone gets offended in the comments, I get it. Manufacturers aren't stupid. They're building bikes that pass emissions laws, meet noise regulations, stay affordable, and appeal to the widest possible audience. That's a tough balance, because here's the truth. They're not building your bike. They're building a version of a bike that's good enough for everyone. And when you try to make something good for everyone, you usually end up with something that isn't great at anything. That's why stock bikes feel a little bland. Not bad, just safe. Like ordering plain chicken at a restaurant when you know they've got spicy options in the kitchen. But here's the good news. Fixing all of this, way easier than you think. Most of these upgrades don't cost a fortune, don't take insane mechanical skills, and make a massive difference instantly. So let's start with the biggest one, exhaust. This is hands down the first thing I change on any bike. And if you've ever looked at a modern stock exhaust, you already know why. They're huge, like unnecessarily huge. It looks like the bike is carrying around a piece of industrial plumbing just to stay quiet enough to pass regulations. And somehow, despite all that size, they still sound like nothing. You fire up the bike expecting this deep, aggressive rumble, and instead you get something that sounds like it's politely asking for permission to exist. That's not what a motorcycle is supposed to feel like, because sound matters more than people admit. It's not just noise, it's emotion, it's feedback. It's the thing that makes you twist the throttle just a little more when you're riding through a tunnel. Stock exhausts are built for 3 things: compliance, silence, and cost. Not performance, not excitement, not you. Now, when you swap to a proper aftermarket exhaust, 3 things happen immediately. First, sound. Your bike finally sounds like it has a pulse. Second, weight. Most aftermarket systems are lighter, which actually helps handling more than people expect. And third, performance. A freer flowing exhaust lets your engine breathe better. It's like trying to run a marathon while breathing through a straw versus actually using your lungs. Which one do you think performs better? Exactly. But here's where people mess up. They think that's the end of it. They bolt on a new exhaust, hear the sound, smile for 5 seconds, and then ride off without fixing the most important part. And that leads straight into number 2. If you change your exhaust, you have to tune your bike. No debate, no shortcuts. Because what you just did is change how air flows out of the engine. And engines are basically air pumps. They need the right balance of air and fuel to run properly. Now imagine this. You just opened up the exhaust so air is leaving faster, but you didn't adjust anything else. That balance is now off. And when that balance is off, 2 things can happen. Neither of them are good. Scenario 1, running too lean. That means too much air, not enough fuel. And what happens? Heat. A lot of heat. We're talking about temperatures that can literally damage internal engine components over time. It's like cooking a steak on max heat and forgetting about it. Eventually, something's getting destroyed. Scenario 2, running too rich. Too much fuel, not enough air. Sounds safer, right? Not really, because now you've got unburnt fuel washing over engine internals, stripping away lubrication, and that's how you slowly wear down your engine from the inside out. So either way, if you don't tune your bike, you're paying for it later. Now, tuning doesn't always mean something complicated. For fuel-injected bikes, it could be a simple ECU flash or a plug-in tuner. For carbureted bikes, that's where things get a little more hands-on. And here's a mistake I see all the time. Guys buy a small tuning kit, open up their carbs for the first time in 10+ years, and think everything's going to go smoothly. It doesn't. Because those old rubber seals and gaskets, they've been sitting there, untouched for years. The moment you open them, they don't seal the same way again. So now, instead of a quick upgrade, you've got leaks, problems, and a second teardown. That's why if you're going into old carbs, just do it properly the first time. Full rebuild. Save yourself the headache. Now let's talk about intake for a second, because this is the other half of the equation. You improved airflow out with the exhaust, now you improve airflow in. A good intake system helps your engine pull in air more efficiently, which means better combustion, which means better performance. And when you combine exhaust intake, and proper tuning, that's when your bike actually wakes up. Not just louder, not just faster, but smoother, more responsive, and way more fun to ride. And here's the thing most people don't realize. This combo alone can completely change how your bike feels before you even touch anything else. And next up, we're getting into the one upgrade that changes how your bike feels every single second you're riding it. Handlebars. This is the upgrade most people underestimate until they actually change it. Because this isn't just about looks, this is about how your bike feels every single second you're riding it. Your hands are always here. Your posture depends on this. Your control starts here. And yet, most stock handlebars, they're built to offend absolutely no one. Neutral height, neutral width, neutral position. Which sounds good until you realize neutral usually means forgettable. It's like wearing a perfectly average outfit every single day. Nothing wrong with it, but nothing exciting either. Now here's where things get interesting. The moment you change your bars, your bike starts to feel like it was actually built for you. Let's say your stock bars feel too low. You're slightly hunched over, putting pressure on your wrists. Go higher. Suddenly, your posture opens up. You feel more relaxed. Long rides become way more comfortable. Or maybe your bars feel too wide. Your arms are stretched out like you're trying to hug a tree. Go narrower. Now your control feels tighter, more responsive, more connected. And then there's the extreme side, ape hangers. Yeah, they look insane, and yes, they completely change the personality of the bike. But here's the reality. Once you go tall enough, it's not just a simple swap anymore. You're dealing with longer throttle cables, clutch cables, brake lines, possibly wiring extensions. And if you're not prepared for that, it can turn into a much bigger project than expected. So if you want a quick win, stay within a range that works with your stock setup. Small changes still make a huge difference. Now let's talk about risers, because bars get all the attention, but risers are what fine-tune everything. Think of risers like positioning tools. They control how high your bars sit, how close they are to you, the angle of your reach. Taller risers bring the bars closer to you, more upright, more relaxed riding position. Shorter risers push you forward slightly, more aggressive, more classic look. And when you combine the right bars with the right risers, you completely transform the cockpit of your bike. It goes from generic factory setup to something that actually feels dialed in, something that fits you, not the average rider. And once you get this right, you'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner. Now, while you're already messing with the handlebars, you might as well handle the easiest upgrade on this list: grips. And yeah, it sounds small, but think about it. This is the one part of the bike you literally touch the entire time you're riding. Every throttle input, every bump, every vibration, it all comes through here. And yet, most stock grips feel like afterthought. Cheap rubber, basic design, nothing special. Now when it comes to grips, this is where personal preference really comes in. But there are still some smart choices depending on how you ride. First, rubber grips. These are great if you ride in colder weather, you deal with rain often, you want more comfort and vibration dampening. They're softer, more forgiving, and easier on long rides. Then you've got metal or machined grips. These are more about durability, style, that aggressive solid feel. They don't wear out as quickly, and they give your bike a much more premium look. But they're less forgiving. You feel more of the road, so if your bike vibrates a lot, you'll notice it. Now here's the real takeaway. Don't just pick grips because they look cool. Pick something that matches how and where you actually ride. Because the wrong grips, you'll feel that mistake every ride. The right grips, you won't even think about them. And that's exactly what you want. Last one, foot pegs. And honestly, stock ones are usually terrible. Not dangerous, just uninspired. They look cheap, they feel basic, and they don't give you much confidence. Now, a lot of people ignore foot pegs until the moment their foot slips, and suddenly it matters a lot. Because your feet are one of your main contact points with the bike. They help you stabilize you, they help control weight shifts, they help you stay planted when riding aggressively. So if your pegs are too slippery, too small, or just poorly designed, you're losing control without even realizing it. A good set of aftermarket pegs fixes that immediately. More grip, more surface area, more confidence. Especially if you wear boots with smoother soles. You want something with a bit of bite, something that holds your foot in place when you hit bumps or lean into corners. And if this video helped you even a little bit, hit that like button. It takes 2 seconds and it helps this channel more than you think. Subscribe if you want more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Now go fix your bike.